我哋可以開始。
I think we can start. This is the 8th meeting of the Bills Committee on District Cooling Services Bill. Item 1 on the agenda, confirmation of minutes. Members, please confirm the minutes of the meeting held on the 13th of January this year. It's paper number CB1562/1415. The Secretariat hasn't received any proposals for amendments. All right, can we confirm the minutes? Thank you. Item 2, please invite the administration in. Welcome. I believe we have the same team with us today, and I don't think I need to introduce the officials to members again. Today is the 8th day in the Chinese in the new year. I wish you all good health and good luck in the coming year. So we've got paper CB1579/01, list of follow-up actions arising from the meeting held on the 16th of February this year. And then we've got paper 02, draft CSAs proposed by the administration. Last time, on the 16th of February, in fact, we completed the clause-by-clause scrutiny of the bill. Members asked the administration to consider moving to CSAs. And for the details, members can refer to paper 579/01. And these CSAs relate to clause 22 and clause 25. And in fact, the administration has already responded to the requests made by members. The administration has given us a paper on all the draft CSAs. So let's deal with the draft CSAs at today's meeting. So perhaps we can have an explanation from the administration in relation to clauses 22 and 25. Thank you, Chairman. I would like to thank members for all their comments. And in relation to clause 22, we are moving a CSA in relation to decisions that are appellable. We will add the three things. For example, in an emergency situation. Yes, so we think these are rather technical aspects, but we think they are feasible. So in other words, you will include D, E, and F. Yes. In fact, we had quite a detailed discussion last time. And the administration, after careful consideration, has decided to include D, E, and F. All right, please continue, Mrs. Ma. Yes, Chairman. Concerning clause 25, how we're going to select the members from the appeal board panel. We hope to be able to get at least one member from each of the three categories. In fact, that's our intention, but then the wording may not be entirely clear. And so, concerning the three categories, in other words, two with engineering background and one without engineering background, we hope to appoint at least one member from each of the three categories. And we have considered the wording very carefully, because we're talking about selecting 4 members from the 3 categories. So for the 4 remaining members, they must be appointed from the 3 categories. And so may I refer members to the CSA concern. So 25 to B. In other words, the word all of will be added. So in other words, there will be at least one member from each of the 3 categories. All right, thank you very much then. So let's now go through the CSAs. Yes, thank you, Chairman. Apart from these 2 amendments, the other amendments are essentially technical in nature. Item 1, Clause 2, interpretation, agreed starting date. So members, please refer to Annex A or Annex B of paper 57902. But then in Annex A, we have a column called Remarks, explaining to members why the CSA have been proposed. So, Chairman, Item 1, Clause 2, agreed starting date. This is a very important date because there are 2 types of fees, and one relates to the agreed cooling capacity. So the agreed starting date is important in relation to the agreed cooling capacity to be and the fees to be paid. And so this is a date to be agreed by the director. Perhaps Mr. Shi from the DOJ can supplement here. Yes, Chairman, I don't have anything to add. Whether a person is a consumer and the effective date and whether he is required to pay, these are all very important. So it's important that there is this agreed starting date. All right, members, you can raise questions as we go along. Mrs. Ma, please continue. Still on Item 1 in Annex A, amending the definition of approved consumer.
We want to make the wordings clear. It was originally put in a person approved under Section 4 as the consumer of district cleaning services for the building. We want to make it clear as, in fact, 4.4, so it's a technical amendment. And Roman letter 3, there is a minor change. Estimated maximum cooling capacity. in the Chinese version, we add the word yi. When we are in the estimation stage, the service has not started, so that's why we put in the word intended to make it clearer. In fact, in the past meetings, the legal advisor of the LegCo has suggested that there is room for improvement in the Chinese version when the Chinese and English versions are compared. So that's why we propose this amendment. Please go on. Thank you. Item 2, Clause 4.2b. We've made a change to the English version. The original version is the intended starting date for district cooling services to be provided to the building. This is not the best presentation, we think. And actually the words to be provided are not needed because the intended starting date is already there, saying that actually the service has not started. So we propose the to be provided be deleted, and we add in the phrase the provision of. We want to be specific about the provision and not just the services. That's the item 2. Please go on. Item 3. Has to do with clause 4. In item 1, we suggest adding in agreed starting date. So for consistency purposes, in clause 4, if the director approves the applicant as a consumer of DCS, we want to add in the word agreed starting date for consistency purpose. Item 4, the same rationale. As we have added in the agreed starting date, so corresponding changes have to be made to clause 5. 1, on contract cooling capacity. As we said, the agreed starting date is very important to the charging scheme. So we have added in a new definition, so we need to make a change to clause 5.1 as well. So that's for item 4. Well, let's go again to, let's go on to item 6. This is again a technical amendment in the Chinese and English versions, connected to a district cooling system specified in Schedule 1. And actually in clause 10.1, that phrase is not necessary. This phrase is not necessary. So we suggest deleting it. We want to make it simpler and clearer, and we just put in the approved consumer. No comments so far? All right, item 7. At the start of the meeting, we said that for decisions D, E, F, that is the director makes a decision to suspend or terminate district cooling services, and we think that's feasible, and we propose that clause 22, in clause 22, we can add in these decisions so that the appeal board can deal with such applications. We've had quite lengthy discussions on this issue. I believe that the committee will agree to that amendment. Item 8 is a simple amendment. The Hong Kong Institution of Engineers, if you refer to the name, actually the T should be in capital letter. So these are the changes. If no further comment on item 8, then item 9. Well, we've already discussed that. Item 10, Schedule 1. This is as a consequential amendment to Clause 10, bracket 1. In item 6, in relation to Clause 10.1, we made an amendment, so we are making a corresponding change here. Perhaps I'll defer to Mr. C from DFJ to take you through that point. Item 10 has to do with Schedule 1, and that has to do with the mentioning in square bracketed cross-reference, and that has to do with clauses which have mentioning of Schedule 1. And in item 6 amendment, the clause 10.1, we have deleted the mentioning on Schedule 1. So correspondingly, in Schedule 1, we have to delete the mentioning of clause 10. Technical amendment, no problem. 11. Item 11. Schedule 2. This is again a technical amendment. We want to make the presentation clearer. Perhaps Mr. C from DFJ can further explain. Items 11 and 12 are doing the same thing. We want to make the presentation better. Originally, we said in a district cooling system, but in the bill, when we talk about a district cooling system, it's a system and not an area. So if you say that a building in a system, then that's really strange. So a better way to present it is to a building to which this district cooling services are providing is a better presentation. Okay. Comments? No? Item 12. Same here. In Schedule 2, Section 5.1. For any building, what matters is not whether it is within that area, but rather where it is provided with district cooling services. So the amendment wants to make this point clearer. Up to now, any comments? Well, if not, then let's look at the English version, Annex A. Well, I think the rationale is clear. Just look at the wordings, whether they are clearer. Can you take us through the English version, PAS? English version, item 1. As we said, there is new term, agreed starting date. The starting date must be agreed by the user and the director. As I said, the date is rather important because it will determine when the capacity charge will take effect. Roman letter 2, same as Chinese version, approved consumer. We want to make it clearer that it's in relation to Section 4, bracket 4. Roman letter 3. We are talking about estimated maximum cooling capacity. We are just estimating the capacity. So we want to be clearer in saying that the district cooling services are intended to be provided. It has not been provided yet, so we just want to add in the word intended to make it clearer. Please go on. Thank you. Item 2. The Chinese version says the same thing. In English, we said it's the provision of district cooling services. Please go on. Item 3. As we have a new term, agreed starting date. So in 4A, we want to add in this. The date that we refer to is the agreed starting date. So this is a consequential amendment to item 1. Item 4. As we have added in the agreed starting date. So in clause 5, bracket 1, we want to incorporate this concept as well. Another minor change. We want to say is if the director approves a person as a consumer and so on, we want to say that it's under section 4 and not just under section 4. Clause item 5. The same as above, as we have the new concept of agreed starting date. So we use that to replace intended starting date agreed by the director. This is the agreed starting date by both parties and not just a date set by the director. So this is the amendment that we're proposing. No comment. Please go on. PAS. Clause 10. Item 6. We propose an amendment here. We want to make this clause clearer. The approved consumer for a building connected to a district cooling system specified in Schedule 1. That's not necessary, so we propose to take it away. This is a technical amendment. Perhaps Mr. C from the DFJ can explain. The words to be taken out here are not necessary because in clause 3 that sets out the application scope of the bill. And that sets out categorically Schedule 1. So the scope of application of the bill has already been set down in Clause 3. So in Clause 10.1, we don't need to mention Schedule 1. So that the same rationale applies to Clause 10.2. All right. So we don't want to be too wordy. Item 7. In response to members' comments, as we explained, we want the appeal board to deal with situations not included before. So we have added in DEF here. Item 8, that's the English name of the Hong Kong Institution of Engineers. No need for further explanation. 9, we've mentioned that already, all of the 3 categories. Yes. Mr. Alan Leung, it is said that it is all of. And B, C, D refer to 3 categories of people. And we need 4 members. So the numbers don't tally. So if you say all of, that sounds ambiguous. I want to pose this question to the expert. Why don't you put it this way? You don't use all of after D, so that you add in, so that there will be at least 1 member appointed from each of the set category. Would that be clearer?
Because all of the 3 categories I don't think it's clear. We have 4 members versus 3 categories, and I think the amendment is not clear. I don't know how this all of the 3 categories operates. Mr. C, I thank Mr. Leung for his question. In fact, we've considered whether there will be a problem because there are 4 members and 3 categories. Now we want to say that for the remaining 4 members, they must come from all the 3 categories. Although the numbers are not equivalent, it doesn't matter because the policy bureau doesn't specify that it should be BBCD, BCCD, or BCDD. All 3 combinations are considered acceptable by the bureau. So we think it's better if we can clarify the intention by adding 2 words. So in other words, Mr. C has considered my version, but then he thinks it's better to add as few words as possible. In my view, the logic is clear. 4 members, they must come from all of the 3 categories. They must comprise representatives from the 3 categories. But Chairman, I think my version suggests that the 4 members must include representatives from all 3 categories. But I don't think the wording of the proposed amendment is equally clear. In my view, the meaning is clear. A total of 4 members from all 3 categories. That would mean at least 1 member from each category. But of course, Mr. Alan Leung is well versed with the legal language. Chairman, your understanding is correct. They must be appointed from all of the 3 categories. In other words, all the 3 categories. I think the meaning is very clear. So the 4 members must include representatives from all 3 categories. I won't insist, but I merely want to say that the meaning is not really that clear. All of the 3 categories. In my view, all of the 3 categories is not the same as specifying that there must be at least 1 member coming from each category. But if members have no strong views, and I think it's enough for my comment to be put on the record. All right. Item 10, Schedule 1. This is, in fact, a consequential amendment. We need to delete the number 10. And then items 11 and 12, they are similar. What is most important is whether the building is provided with the district cooling services. And so for items 11 and 12, we want to make it clear that we are talking about buildings to which district cooling services are provided. Thank you. All right, so we've dealt with both the Chinese and the English versions of the draft CSAs. So apart from Mr. Alan Leung's comment, I have heard no other comments from members, but then we'll put Mr. Leung's view on record. We've completed clause-by-clause scrutiny. We've gone through the draft CSAs. So I'm happy to announce that at the 8th meeting of the Bills Committee, we've basically completed our work. Can I ask Mrs. Ma when the administration intends to resume the second reading debate of the bill? And I think there is an element of urgency in relation to this bill because for non-government users of the system, we need to rely on the bill to do the charging. So we hope that the resumption of second reading can take place on the 25th of March because we have to rely on this bill to charge the consumers. If we want to resume second reading debate on the 25th of March, then we'll need to submit a report to the House Committee on the 13th of March. And the deadline for proposing CSAs will be the 16th of March. So CSAs have to be submitted by members by the deadline of the 16th of March. Legal advisor, any comments? Members, any comments? All right. So we've completed the scrutiny of the bill. We'll no longer need to have a meeting on the 11th of March. No AOB items? Then the meeting is adjourned. I thank members for their hard work. Thank you.